President-elect John Mahama mandating the NDC MPs to nominate Alban Bagbin as the Speaker for the 9th Parliament. I want to run you through how far we've come with respect to speakership in the 4th Republic, and we'll just try and run you through that data right now, because there's been a name that's been brought forward by the President-elect. But remember, it does not mean that Alban Bagbin is the Speaker of the 9th Parliament just as yet. He has to be nominated by an MP-elect, and that process is expected to take place tomorrow by about 11 p.m. thereabout. Trust that all of that process, all through to the swearing in of the newly elected members of Parliament, we here at your Election Command Center will be there to bring you details live as it happens. But let's do a recap first of speakers in the 4th Republic. And we're starting off from 1996, where Justice D.F. Annan was retained as Speaker from the 1992 Parliament. He had Ken Drasa, First Deputy Speaker, representing the NDC. Then we had Freddie Blay, Second Deputy Speaker, then PCP before it became CPP, and he at that time had formed or was a part of a coalition of parties with the New Patriotic Party, and so they nominated him as a Second Deputy Speaker. He was voted upon and was elected as a Second Deputy Speaker of the 2nd Parliament in the 4th Republic. Move on to the 3rd Parliament of 2000. Peter Alajete was nominated and elected as Speaker of the 3rd Parliament. Freddie Blay, now CPP, still that same coalition of parties with the NPP and the CPP as well, all coming together and executing an election which saw John Agyekum Kufuor emerge victorious after 2 rounds of the presidential election. He was selected as a First Deputy Speaker, and then Ken Drasa from First Deputy was then nominated and elected as a Second Deputy Speaker. Now, here's where it gets interesting. In the 4th Parliament, Bejina Sechi Hughes was elected as Speaker of Parliament, but it was interesting because he had to beat competition from this man in the 3rd Parliament, Peter Alajete, because there was some animosity between Peter Alajete and then President John Agyekum Kufuor at the time. And so the NPP did not re-nominate Peter Alajete. But interestingly, the NDC, when the nomination was made by the NPP for Bejina Sechi Hughes to be Speaker, the NDC decided to nominate Peter Alajete as Speaker, seeking to split heads in that 4th Parliament. What happened was that the NPP MP stayed true to the nomination, voted in support of Bejina Sechi Hughes. Freddie Blay again was retained as First Deputy Speaker. And interestingly, what was supposed to happen was Ken Drasa, who had been Second Deputy Speaker in the 3rd Parliament, was nominated again as Second Deputy Speaker. But because the NDC had decided to cause heads to split with the nomination of Peter Alajete, the NPP on their own nominated their own Malik Yakubu and then voted him as the Second Deputy Speaker. And remember, this was possible because the First Deputy Speaker and then the Second Deputy Speaker were not from the same party, but were from the same coalition. The Constitution does not respect or give heed to a coalition coming into office, and so it was possible for Freddie Blay, who literally was doing business with the NPP, to be nominated and elected as First Deputy Speaker, and then Malik Yakubu as well, of the NPP proper, nominated as Second Deputy Speaker. Switch off to the 5th Parliament. Joyce Pamfordado elected as Speaker. First Deputy Speaker was Edward Duajaho, and then Professor Aaron Michael Quay, Dom Kwabenya MP at the time, Second Deputy Speaker. He was nominated and elected. And then to the 6th Parliament as well, Edward Duajaho, NDC MP. He was elected as Speaker. He had to step off from his seat and then for fresh elections to be conducted there. Ebo Batinodro was then elected as the first Deputy Speaker for the NDC. Then Joe Garte became the second Deputy Speaker as well. And then in 2016, the 7th Parliament, Professor Mike Eronokwe was elected as Speaker, Joseph Osei-Wusu, first Deputy Speaker. And then the man who we're having this conversation about became the second Deputy Speaker. That's Alban Bagbin. He was nominated in the 7th Parliament to become the second Deputy Speaker. And then we saw in the 8th Parliament, that interesting Parliament where it's been a blockbuster, if you like to call it that. Started with a lot of action, ending with a lot of action. Alban Bagbin, interestingly, was nominated by the NDC as Speaker. The NPP nominated Professor Mike Eronokwe. Per the numbers, if everything was supposed to go as it's expected to go when whips come in line and they're supposed to whip each side to be in line, Professor Michael Kwe should have won. But interestingly, there were some NPP MPs who decided that Alban Bagbin was the best man to do the job. Up until now, there's still investigations with respect to which NPP MPs voted to make Alban Bagbin Speaker of Parliament. We're yet to find out the details, but he emerged victorious from that particular election. You recall there was a chasing of an MP because he had taken ballot papers, swallowed some. Interesting 8th Parliament. Well, Joseph Osei-Wusu was then as well, it was agreed upon. He became first Deputy Speaker. And then Andrew Esiama, who was an independent candidate at the time, but had decided that he was going to do business with the governing New Patriotic Party, was also nominated. And then it was agreed upon that he becomes the second Deputy Speaker. And so that's what the speakership position has been like up until this point. What we know right now is that this man, Alban Bagbin, has been, per the letter from the NDC's president, or the president-elect, I shouldn't be saying NDC's president, the president-elect, he has mandated NDC MPs-elect to nominate Alban Bagbin as Speaker for the 9th Parliament. It remains to be seen who will become the first Deputy and then the second Deputy as well with respect to the speakership for the 9th Parliament. But